Welcome back to Man vs. Meeple, the show where we talk about all things board game related. Today we're talking about Fruit Ninja from Lucky Duck. This is not the app game or the game that you might have played on your Xbox or console. This is the tabletop version, and this is just one of 3 versions of the game that they're going to have on Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the one called Card Master. It is a very light, 30-minute, 2 to 4 player deck building style game in which each player has their own character deck in front of them, and they're going to be slicing fruit within specific dojos.
But in real time. So this is not your typical deck builder for sure.
But it's not a dexterity game. Don't think of it as a really hardcore dexterity game. You'll be moving cards around, but it really is truly a deck building game. It's going to be played over 4 rounds. Each of the rounds you're going to be using your deck of cards, and each player starts with a deck of 15 cards. In this deck of 15 cards, they have 4 different types of fruit, 3 of each type. They all cut different types of fruit. You have 2 dead cards, which are basically your character cards, and then you have 1 anti-bomb card.
Right.
Because everyone that's played Fruit Ninja knows that there are bombs that are being thrown up and you have to not cut them so that all the other things don't explode. Also, you have a number of golden apples. These are what the victory points are in the game. You're going to be trying to acquire the most golden apples by the end of the game. You have star fruit tokens. These are what's going to be being used at the end of every round in order to buy new cards to place into your deck.
Right, and 4 rounds, and you can play, this is a 2 to 4 player game. We have a 4 player game set up here, so there's going to be 1 dojo for every player plus one.
And then you have a number of particular decks of cards that you can play with. Now, this is just 6 unique cards. There's another deck of cards you can introduce. You can mix and match cards into there. Each of these decks is slightly unique in that they all have one very unique power at the top and a specific type of fruit, but they cut different types of fruit. You also have a golden apple that anyone can buy during their turn. It's just 1 card. You don't particularly buy this card. You're simply buying victory points.
Right.
And then you have bombs and anti-bombs. And let's go ahead and teach you guys how to play. So you're going to shuffle your deck of cards face down in front of you. Everyone will do this at the same time. And then you're going to use an app. When you open that app, it's a free app from Lucky Duck. You're going to hit start, and then it's going to count down. At that time, everybody will take their deck of cards, and then they will slam them down on the left-hand side of their board.
Face up.
Face up. And then just like a book, you are shuffling through this. You can go forward and you can go backward, trying to match the tops of the cards with the bottom of the 5 dojo cards that you have out in front of them, trying to slice those particular types of fruit. So this is all done in real time. So when that 40-second timer starts, everybody simultaneously will be putting these out.
Yeah, for example, my top card is a banana card, but it slices a strawberry. So I can go and put that on the strawberry. Now that dojo effectively has a banana to slice.
Right. So let's talk about what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do this. When you look at these 5 different dojos in front of them, they all have different unique abilities to them. This one, for instance, anytime you cut coconut in this dojo, it creates a bomb on the cards that are there. This one does nothing. This one gives you +1 extra point at the end of the round for every strawberry that you cut during that round, and so forth. This one actually creates bombs for cutting strawberries and pineapples. So you're thinking to yourself, well, why are you trying to do this? Well, you're trying to accumulate the most cards in each of these particular dojos. So you're going to be laying your cards on top of other players, possibly even on top of your own cards, trying to get the most cards in each one of these.
Right, because at the end, you're going to look at the dojo, and first place is going to get some form of reward. Second place, maybe third, maybe not third sometimes.
Right.
You're going to basically get varying levels of rewards based on how many cards you have there. Now, Jeremy mentioned earlier, sometimes bombs are going to come out. You're going to slice a coconut, for instance, in this first dojo, and that means that any sliced coconut card on the dojo at the end is effectively going to have a bomb on it, and it's going to destroy that card and every card from the same player that's attached to that card consecutively.
So example, we have a banana, I cut the banana, and then we have a strawberry, and I cut the strawberry. But I look at this card, and I have a banana here. And I use the banana, so meaning that this card will blow up, and every one of my blue cards will blow up that's connected to that string, unless I play an anti-bomb. Now, one of the cool things in here is that each player has an anti-bomb within their original deck of cards. When you use the anti-bomb, you immediately put it on the center placard, which will be in reach of all the players. You take an anti-bomb, and then you lay it on that piece that would be bombed. That prevents that bomb from happening, and all the cards that are attached to it. Once the timer is done, and that's 40 seconds, players can continue playing. They don't have to stop. However, the first player that hits the button on it will create another 5-second timer in which every player then has 5 seconds to complete playing as many cards as they so wish. And then you're going to simply look at the dojos and score those dojos up. Every single card that you have in one of those columns will give you 1 point. However, there are some cards as this. If I sliced a strawberry in here like this, it would actually count as 2 cards.
Right.
For that particular thing.
Exactly. You're going to add those up. You're going to divvy out the rewards from those, from all of the dojos, and then it's time to go buy some new cards.
Yeah, so when you buy cards, the first player that gets the ability to buy it will be the player that hits that end button on the app to signify all the other players having to stop. Then the players can use any of the fruit tokens that they have, the fruit star tokens, to buy as many cards as they so wish from the tops of these decks and adding them to their current deck. They're going to take all their cards and they're going to decide which ones they want to replace. Obviously, you're going to want to replace your character cards because character cards are just dead cards in your hand. So you're going to take those cards that you buy, either put them on top or forcibly take them out and replace them with new cards. And you're going to do this introducing new dojos at the end of every single round and completing that 4 times in a row and then adding up all the golden apples to see who has the most points at the end.
Yeah, it's interesting because you can look at the dojos as you're playing and see, okay, for instance, this dojo here, there's no starfruit here. This is just a victory point run. But then there's one down here that's largely starfruit. So you can take into consideration what you want to do a little bit strategically, but when you mix that with the fact that you're doing this under a 40-second time limit, it's not as easy as you'd expect to like really think things through thoroughly.
And you're not going to think you're going to think it's a very simple game to play, but once you start introducing bombs into the mix and you see other players adding bombs to their deck of cards, you're going to be realizing real quickly that they're might not be trying to get more points at the end of the game, but they're trying to bomb your locations. Because if I had a bomb card, I could just get rid of that bomb card and then place that bomb in a location, bombing all those sequence of cards, making that other player have to deal with that right away or lose the points in that particular dojo that they're trying to go to.
Right, and it can be very easy when you're playing, when you lay a card and you see that you have the next card for that stack, to just keep going on one stack. But that leaves you susceptible to that bombing because if you put 3-4 cards down in a row and Jeremy gets a bomb card out there, guess where he's going? You know, he's going to bomb those cards. And sometimes it's also easy to just overlook it.
Yeah.
You know, in the end of the game, you're like, oh, I forgot there's a bomb there and I lose 4 cards, so I lose the dojo.
And not only, as David said, if you continue down one string or one dojo, just keep playing cards over and over, you're not stretching out across the variety of different dojos because you have to at least have a card in that location to score for it. So sometimes it's great to have a card on every single one of the dojos because you're getting fruit tokens in order to buy new cards and upgrade your cards, and then getting possibly golden apples if you do claim them.
Yeah, depending on the dojos that come out, you could even play a strategy where you just get very few cards on all of the dojos, and you're going to be safer that way because you're less likely to get bombed. And B, you're going to be able to usually collect some form of reward. Maybe not the victory points or the juiciest reward, but if you're collecting rewards across all the dojos, it adds up.
Yeah, I want to make this again very apparent. This isn't a hardcore dexterity game. You will be manipulating your deck back and forth. It is truly a deck building game.
Yeah.
And a very light deck building meant to be played in 30 minutes or less. So you're in and out. You can play again right away.
And it definitely, I have to hand it to him, it really recaptures the concept of Fruit Ninja. I think making a tabletop version of Fruit Ninja is a tall order. And I think there's a really creative solution for sort of bringing that experience back in.
I think it has over 1 billion downloads already.
Oh yeah, Fruit Ninja. If you haven't played Fruit Ninja, I don't know who you are.
So if you guys have any questions about the game, make them in the comments below. Subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, everything else that we do here at Man vs. Meeple, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
This Kickstarter preview has been brought to you by Man vs. Meeple in sponsorship with Quartermaster Logistics. Take a look at all of their fulfillment solutions at qmlogistics.com.